in that 1-1 scoreline. So here they come, victory in their navy blue. Adelaide in their change strip tonight. It's the 63rd meeting in the A-League. Get ready for fireworks. The original rivalry, Melbourne Victory versus Adelaide United. As the Victory fans launch into their anthem, we'll remind you of the teams. Tony Popovic makes 3 changes for Victory. Adama Traore is ruled out through concussion protocols, so utility player Connor Chapman starts at left back. In midfield, Fabian Monge replaces Jake Brimmer, and Nishan Velupillay is restored to the left flank in place of Ben Falami. Daniel Arzani was rated doubtful, but has trained all week and starts. And Bruno Fornaroli gets one more opportunity to add to his 12-goal haul before heading off to the Gulf with the Socceroos. Stefan Negro returns on the bench. And just the one change for the Reds, Javi Lopez makes his first start of the campaign at right back, ending a run of 6 consecutive starts for Giuseppe Bovalina. Joe Gauci plays his final match as well before linking up with the Socceroos for the Asian Cup. And Carl Viet sticks with the change in formation that paid off against the Jets, meaning it's a twin strike force of Hiroshi Ibasuki and Luka Jovanovic again. Ryan Tunnicliffe celebrates his 31st birthday today. Nestori Irankunda and Ben Halloran among the strong-looking Reds bench. It's one of the great sights and sounds of the A-League, that full Victory Terrace and their Stand By Me anthem. And why wouldn't they stand by their club at the moment? 9 unbeaten and with a chance to go top of the ladder tonight. Here's the head-to-head meeting all time. They played on 62 previous occasions. Victory with the edge, 28 wins to 20 with 14 draws. And a reminder, each of the last 3 have ended in a 1-1 scoreline. The weather is cool and dry. Pitch is perfect. The stage is set for what should be another fascinating instalment of the original rivalry. Tony Popovic, a 9-game unbeaten run, represents his best ever start as an A-League head coach, and it's equalled the club record set back in 14-15, a season when Victory went on to become champions. Carl Viet played in the very first meeting between these two sides, a qualifier for the Oceania Club Championship in April 2005. The Reds won on spot kicks after a goalless draw, and Viet scored in the shootout. And certainly Broxham came off the bench that day for Victory. There's our referee, Daniel Elder, taking charge of his maiden original rivalry contest this evening. Zinedine Mashash want to keep an eye on. And the countdown clock is now at 0. And it's Melbourne Victory who get us underway. The final game of 2023 for these two teams. Another big night, another fascinating evening in prospect at Amy Park, Andy Harper.
Evening, Simon. Well, I'm a bit like Bruce Ute, I think. Whenever the fixtures are released at the start of every season, I look for Victory Adelaide. It's fabulous. Rarely, if ever, lets you down, and I'm not expecting a break from tradition tonight.
Almost a chance there. Sorry to interrupt, Harps. Ball almost bouncing, almost, for Nishan Velupillay. It's spun up in the air off Ryan Tunnicliffe, I think. Just the spin on that ball deceived Velupillay, but Victory do have the game's first corner. To be delivered on this near side. Dealt with by Nick Ansell, the former Victory player. He just stays down for a moment and has attracted the referee's attention. He's saying he needs a moment.
There's fantastic noise in this great stadium. Plenty of seats are still available. It's a good crowd, but it's not a full house. It sure sounds like it. The Victory fans are really giving it loud and early. Fabulous.
Ball's gone out of play before Connor Chapman could retrieve it. Interestingly, Connor Chapman lining up at right back and not left back, as listed on the team sheet, with Jason Derrier perhaps slotting in on the left-hand side. Here come Victory, a chance for another effort from Valupale, which the Reds' defence managed to block, but good early pressure from the home side. Fabian Monge replacing Jake Brimmer in the Victory midfield this evening. Adelaide just trying to settle on the ball. Isai is always a good option when you're trying to do that. Chance for Alexander Popovic to swing it out wide left for Ryan Kitto. This change in formation that Carl Viet implemented last week against Newcastle Hearts. It worked against the Jets. He's stuck with it tonight.
Well, he's got players fighting for starting berths. He spoke with Tara and Archie pre-game about Ben Halloran and how effective he's been over the years, but he can't crack it for a start at the moment, which speaks to the great competition for places. So players are in that sort of mood and on that sort of edge. You can move things around and change the personnel, tinker here and there.
Clough straight into the arms of Paul Izzo. Isn't he having a good season, the English midfielder?
His turnaround's been significant. I think it's fair to say, Simon, that Zach's been a slow burner. A lot of promise with his CV, and his highlights reel was magnificent, but took a long time to start showing that sort of football, but it was been worth the wait. I think it's fair to say also he's really been excellent value.
Now Fabian Monge caught sleeping. Adelaide's almost nicking in. Swept upfield though by Roderick Miranda. The first touch by Arzani was heavy. Chance gone for Victory in transition.
Unbelievable pass from Miranda, but also, of course, he knew that whatever was going to happen, evidently, that Daniel Arzani will just be camped wide and in space.
Here goes Mashash. Arzani. Zinedine Mashash creates the angle. Can't hit the target.
Pretty straightforward too for Victory to get through Mashash. That opening towards goal, a bit of a concern there for Carl Viet. There was one touch to the side and everything opened up for Mashash. He couldn't quite get the shot that he'd planned.
That's a lovely turn that by Ryan Kitto to leave Daniel Arzani trailing in his wake, and Paul Izzo had to come out and play sweeper keeper, but the flag was up against Luka Jovanovic anyway. Former Reds keeper, of course, Paul Izzo. Two spells with Adelaide United, 84 appearances, a couple of Australia Cup winners' medals in his trophy cabinet. And that's a foul on Nishan Valupale. Almost demanded by Tony Popovic.
Well, he reached across with his right arm, Harvey Lopez. It clearly took Valupale out of the game.
De Silva. Arzani. Looking for the give and go with Mashash. Adelaide got bodies in there. Ball's like a hot potato. Eventually it settles at the feet of Isaias. Now Javi Lopez, his compatriot. Clough. And beyond him is Jovanovic. Looking to run at Roderick Miranda. And he's found the angle for the cross, and Izzo was struggling, and Victory needs Damien De Silva to hook the ball to safety. that's a handball against Tunnicliffe.
That's great play from Adelaide. Zach Clough just releasing Jovanovic down the right-hand side. And he's great in this situation. The last couple of weeks, really enjoyed Jovanovic. He sucked in beautifully Miranda, just with that little feint. He nibbled, did the big centre half, and that was the space that Jovanovic needed. And Johnny Yull arriving at the near post might have been more for Adelaide. Great play from the Reds.
Roderick Miranda looking to lift the ball over the top and utilise the pace in behind of Velupale, who gets there ahead of Lopez, but an experienced defender holds him at bay for now. That's shaping into a good contest.
Well, the whole game shaped up nicely after 7 minutes.
Off the chest of Arzani, Jason Guerrier. And the throw-in is an Adelaide United one. Hectic tempo in the early minutes. Normally is in this fixture.
Sure is.
Adelaide have not lost any of their last 4 trips to play Victory at AAMI Park. 1 win and 3 draws. Of course, got back in the winner's circle last week against Newcastle. They have lost 4 of the last 6. Started to slip away from the top of the ladder. Here's Zach Clough. It's beyond Ivasuki.
Yeah, and that's not the form Zach Clough has been in. He's done some nice things today. That game's only approaching 8 minutes old, but that really ran out of ideas quickly, and it was a promising situation. Ivasuki took Jason Guerrier out of the equation just around the centre circle. Plenty of time for Zach Clough to come up with something.
Shash couldn't bring the ball under his spell. Thumped forward by De Silva. One in the air by Lopez. And it loops up into the early evening sky off Isaias. Now Tunnicliffe trying to float it towards Jovanovic. It's a touch too strong for him. The ball has stayed in play though. Forward by Arzani. Forneroli busting her gut to get there, but Ansell was determined. Johnny Yull. Connor Chapman sticking close to him. There's that challenge from Nick Ansell. We used to call that ball and all. You're always fired up when you're playing against your old club, aren't you? Which Nick Ansell is tonight.
Yeah. And he hasn't played a lot of football over the recent years. A lot of injuries, but he looks in good nick at the moment. No pun intended.
Yeah, this is his 3rd season with the Reds. Just his 18th appearance in that space of time. Velupale. Mashash. Forneroli. Gets it back off Guerrier. Ryan Teague. Velupale. Just a slightly heavy first touch, opened the door for the Reds. And Lopez goes route one, but De Silva is there for victory. Steadied down by Chapman. Moved on quickly by Monge and Arzani. De Silva again. That's comfortable for Ansell. Maybe handball against Arzani. Yep, Daniel Elder just waited to see if Adelaide got any advantage. They've taken the free kick pretty quickly though. Clough calling for it. Kitto with the 1-2 with Ivasuki. Ball will break here. Kindly for Jovanovic, who'll fire one in. Easily repelled by Victory. Calmly done. Out of that little mini press by Adelaide. And now there's some room for Jason Guerrier to advance into. Beyond him is Nishan Velupale. Disguised pass for Jason Guerrier. In a very advanced position for him.
Forneroli was free on the edge of the 6-yard box, around about the second post. Guerrier just couldn't get the contact on the cross. It was beautiful from Victory.
got a problem here with Isaias, which means we can go down and say good evening to Michael Zapponi, who's pitch side for us.
Yeah, good evening, Simon. Cool one here in Melbourne tonight, but Tony Popovic is up and about and yelling out instructions to his team as you would normally expect. But just with that run forward, Jason Gerry, who said in a position perhaps we wouldn't expect to see him. The instruction from Tony Popovic has been for Geria to get forward at every opportunity, and perhaps no surprise when you see the statistics for Melbourne Victory so far this season. They've scored 11 goals in first halves, more than any other team in the competition. 19 goals in total, but 11 of them coming in the first 45 minutes.
Thanks, Zappa. By the way, they scored only 8 first half goals all season last year. That's that little injury for Isaias, just a coming together of knees with Geria.
Yeah, and from which Geria couldn't get the purchase on the cross, which could well have put Bruno Fornaroli in front of the goal for a tap-in.
Isaias just waiting for the OK to come back on. And Adelaide's are now back to their full complement. De Silva pings it beautifully into the path of Mashash. Teague. Monch out wide for Mashash again. Lovely ball that's by Mashash to find Valupale. Still there for Victory. Mashash trying to tow it towards a teammate. Tunnicliffe brings it clear for Adelaide before he's then all wrapped up by Fornaroli, whom Zach Clough turns away from, and then it ricochets off De Silva, and Geria is back providing cover. Adelaide have just settled a bit after that early flurry from Melbourne Victory. Lopez just knocked off balance there, that's what he felt anyway. Daniel Eldat happy to play on, and Mashash floats it beautifully into the path of Arzani. It's not quite on the same page as Fornaroli. Now Kitto to strike forward, but it won't stick for Ibusuki. The frenetic pace continues. Ideal conditions for it too. Valupale. No way through. Tiny work by Isaias. Lovely turn by Luka Jovanovic. Sets the Reds moving forward. Clough. There's nobody out wide for him. Johnny Yull. Tunnicliffe. Clough. Oh, that could have so easily looped off the knee of Roderick Miranda and over the top of Paul Izzo.
Yeah, it's great endeavour from both sets of players. You know, the mantra is to play forward and play quick when you can as your first option. And it's really made for an excellent 15 minutes. End-to-end, real edge, great speed. Frenetic, as you say, Simon. It's resulted in a few breakdowns in possession and some cheaper turnovers, but by and large, both sets of fans watching on will be full of expectation. Both teams have started well.
Plenty of Reds fans in the house as well, including Redwig Steve, of course. Heavily outnumbered, it must be said, of course, by Victory fans. Here's Mashash with Popovic at his back. It's got past one, and it's still got the balls in it, Mashash. Against the odds, really. Valupale. Fornaroli just peeled off the defender. And support from Chapman. Now Arzani. Couldn't break the challenge, but Chapman was there to help him out. They'll go again, Victory. Valupale. Arzani reaching for it.
Ah, look, it's good play. Victory asking the questions and Adelaide's defence coming up with the answers, but it's really edgy. Isaias tracking the run with great experience.
corner ball off Ryan Kitto. Victory, of course, looking to make it into double figures. For their unbeaten start to the campaign. Their best ever run is 16 unbeaten. That was under Tony Popovich as well back in 2022. 10 wins and 6 draws. 4 wins and 5 draws to start this season. And Alzani to deliver this corner. The outswinger, plenty of height to it. Roderick Miranda off the post. With Joe Gauci beaten. As close as we've come. Adelaide appeal for handball against Monge, nothing doing. Now they'll look to spring forward on the counter. Zach Clough plays it out in front of Luka Jovanovic. There could be a chance here for the Reds. He was forced wide by Ryan Teague. Connor Chapman galloping back as well. And the chance was gone. Great action. The woodwork saving Adelaide United at the other end.
Well, Miranda's a handful. He's tall. He doesn't get contact with the head, but it was still goal bound. Had Gauci beaten. The post saving Adelaide.
Fornaroli obstructed. Or not.
Referee Daniel Elder deciding that
Fornaroli ran into the
the one-on-one situation was fully engaged. And Nick Ansell had no case to answer. I tend to agree.
Yeah, just stood his ground. Fornaroli fairly bounced off him. Square by Ansell for Alexander Popovich. To Gauci. May well be called upon in that Asian Cup campaign in January, with Matt Ryan still recovering from that fractured cheekbone, at least for the first game against India.
Well, he works very diligently, Joe Gauci. Everyone talks about his work ethic. And on that basis, I think if Matty Ryan's not available and Joe is actually deemed number 2, ordained as number 2, then he will be ready to go.
Lawrence Thomas might have a bit to say about that, of course, as well.
Indeed, he's been fantastic and thoroughly deserves his selection in the squad.
Totally agree. Popovich. Went exactly where Javi Lopez wanted it to, and Adelaide back in a bit of trouble here, but easily sorted out by Popovich. Teague all wrapped up by Jovanovic. Now Adelaide can look to spring forward again. Tunnicliffe had a little look to see where Kitto was. It's so congested in the middle of the park. Look at the battle for possession going on.
Geez, that was a great challenge from Connor Chapman then. Actually, he read that so well, because if Tunnicliffe was able to settle on that ball, then Kitto would have been free down the left-hand side. Victory would have had to turn and chase. It would have very potentially been a sticky situation for them. Very, very important from Connor Chapman.
He's becoming the modern-day Lee Broxham, isn't he? Right back, left back, centre back, defensive midfield. Broxy's still with the club, of course. Popovich. Turned back by Ibasuki. Lopez. Give it away. Mashash. Great feet. Took 2 defenders to stop him. Stop him they did, Adelaide. Damien De Silva. Marzani. Back for Roderick Miranda. So it goes first time. Picks out Valupale beautifully. It's a lovely touch by Mashash. Very close to being anyway, but Popovic read it.
He's been great too, Popovic, to start this game. And that was a really awkward bouncing ball to deal with, given his starting position. Somehow he managed to throw a leg out and interrupt the victory flow.
Popovic was trying to angle it out towards Kitto, who's now out of position. Johnny Yule chasing back to provide cover. Ryan Teague on the ball. Miranda, who's come as close as anyone to breaking the deadlock. His header coming back off the post. Sent off in this fixture, of course, back in round 3, along with Nestor Irankunda late on. Irankunda on the bench for the Reds tonight. Valupale. Marzani. Again, it's all very tight in there. Breaks here for Bruno Fornaroli. And it's just got away from him. And the flag is up anyway. But that ricochet, for a moment, opened things up for victory.
Well, it was Daniel Arzani who's sticking a boot in to force the ball towards Bruno, just straight offside.
Talking of boots, I fancy Joe Gauci was the victim of a stray one. And that's a little scramble to get to the ball first. He'll need a bit of attention. How's Graham Arnold's worry beads at the moment with all these players? This is the As Live ladder. If it were to stay this way, Victory would miss their chance to go top, but remain outright second. Adelaide would go above Brisbane on goal difference back into the top 6. Still a fair bit of football to be played over the next couple of days. Mariners against Perth tomorrow, the traditional New Year's Eve fixture. And then Wanderers against MacArthur on New Year's Day. Earlier on today, Newcastle Jets beating Western United by 2-0. Too far in advance of Jovanovic, that ball. Guerria's long launch. It's clever defending again by Popovic. Given away though by Clough. Mashash. Chapman. He's got licence to roam forward as well, Connor Chapman. Arzani on the ball. And nobody hitting that zone just in front of the 6-yard box.
But it came earlier than they were expecting. And in fairness to those support players, one of whom was Bruno Fornaroli, league's top scorer, and Nishan Valupale out on the left. They're normally expecting Daniel to have a crack at beating the first defender, but on this occasion, Arzani, which is not unjustified either, settling on the ball and an early delivery.
Good one to control for Masuki, did well. Tunnicliffe. Kitto, the Reds captain. Johnny Yong. Isaias, now Clough. Tunnicliffe. Kitto trying a little trick and flick, which wasn't quite executed well enough. away by Arzani. Yul having a look to see what's around him. Zach Clough popping up on the left-hand side, and there's a bit of room here for Ryan Kitto to drive into. And again, it takes a heavy touch off Victory defender, which could have gone anywhere. Fortunately for Victory, it's out for a throw.
Great space for Ryan Kitto. An enormous amount to exploit, but the Victory defence was packed. Fortunate deflection, I guess you could say, from Roderick Miranda.
Lopez. And Miranda to try and settle things down, but it's still not entirely away for Melbourne Victory. Ball had gone out before Johnny Yule could wrap his boot around it. Adelaide remain a threat. Victory probably with more of the general play, down the flanks in particular. Adelaide have shown promise. Ansell. Test for De Silva. Brought down by Yule, and he's then clattered into by Arzani. It's a complete accident, but still hurts.
Yeah, that was very, very heavy.
Yeah, it's careless really by Arzani.
I would have thought bookable, actually, because of the careless nature of it. He's left the ground and taken out an opponent. It's not for a second to suggest he meant any harm to the opponent, but still, it was careless. And I think bookable.
Almost dead centre. Between 25 and 30 metres from goal. Zach Clough waiting for the runners. They're going to hit that back post. Roderick Miranda loops it up and out for an Adelaide corner.
Well, he too's in great form. Roderick Miranda, we've seen plenty of good football from him since he became a Victory player.
It's the Adelaide fans in that corner finding their voices. Zach Clough to deliver. Popovic and Ansell about to make their move. Ibasuki a threat in the air, of course, as well. It's into a good area, and Ibasuki was on the end of it. And Chapman hammers it away for now. They're built for handball Victory. Daniel Elder waves play on. Tunnicliffe. Down the line for Kitto. Seen out safely for now for Victory by Fabian Monge. Johnny Yule. Another Reds corner.
That's good pressure from Adelaide. Ibasuki is such a handful, as we saw from the last corner. And you'd imagine that Adelaide will be seeking out the elongated frame of the Japanese striker. Victory defending from the corner in a zone, which means Ibasuki can roam.
Johnny Yule to work the ball short. We say he is. Clough. Change of angle didn't really work. Still might do though. Kitto has a go. Not far away from the Reds captain.
Yeah, great anticipation and purpose from Ryan Kitto there. Victory defended the corner well. Numbers to confronting the ball, but Ryan Teague beaten by the anticipation of Kitto. He then used the momentum of the bouncing ball to shoot goalward and test Paul Izzo.
A rather sloppy piece of control from Jason Guerriat. Keeps the pressure on the home side. Lopez with the throw. And out off the boot of Luka Jovanovic. And he looks lively, doesn't he? theoretically part of a front two with Ibusuki, but he buzzes around on the flanks as well. Gets himself involved in the build-up play. He's got great energy. Popovic, swept upfield by Ansel. Ibusuki looking for but not finding Clough. Monge. Geria. The turnover. Careless by Victory. Ryan Kitto chests the ball down. The cutback. Here's Johnny Young. Lots of defenders around him. They're trying to play the ball through, and Adelaide appealing for handball. Perhaps more so their supporters in that corner on the far side of the grounds. Yeah, I will check it, of course, as they do with all such incidents. Peg Jakovitz in the booth tonight.
Game hasn't stopped, Simon. 33 minutes. It stopped, well, I should say it stopped briefly for Joe Gauci. Get a bit of a look at his ankle. Here's the very intricate piece of play. It was the Adelaide fans who called for handball. None of the players did. That was the incident. That was more ball to hand if there wasn't any contact at all for Connor Chapman, but this is a sensational period in the game for Adelaide. They're looking really dangerous. Victory, to their eternal credit, defending very, very well.
Kitto looking for an option, finds Ibusuki. Adelaide keeping the pressure on. Maybe Monge being kept busy. In the air by Yul. Forward by Valupale, returned with interest by Isaias, who then goes to ground and wants a foul, but Daniel Elder's not interested, and Arzani carries it forward. To his right is Mashash. Looking for Valupale at the back post. Javi Lopez got back in the nick of time. Only 3 appearances off the bench so far this season, prior to tonight, for Javi Lopez, but albeit deciding the time is right to bring him back in and give Giuseppe Bovalina a bit of a breather. Miranda getting the better of Ibusuki. De Silva. Nice release for Chapman. Mashash in position on the right, in towards Fornaroli over his head, and it needs Lopez again to steer it behind for a Victory corner. Good response from Tony Popovic's side.
Yeah, very good. And that was an excellent pass out of defence from De Silva. And Connor Chapman then helping the ball forward to Mashash. And his delivery went over the top of Bruno Fornaroli. Valupale just couldn't make up the ground.
Zani has taken the corner short for Valupale, and he's round Zach Clough. And it was Ibusuki to the rescue this time. We get a more conventional delivery this time from Arzani. Yep, the signal goes up. Geria and Miranda at the back post along with De Silva. It's very deep. Miranda's reached it. Here's Jason Geria. Now Victory's turn to appeal for handball, rather half-heartedly. Chapman. On the run into the channel from Mashash is rewarded. It's Zinedine Mashash and Bruno Fornaroli. Mashash again, can they dig it out? Arzani, what a save by Gauci! That's an outstanding stop.
That's good football. That's desperate defending. Victory finally gets someone in front of goal with a good chance at Arzani. Look at this scramble. And Arzani can't quite get the contact he requires to beat the excellent Joe Gauci, who saves at full stretch to his left.
Just the one goal so far in victory colours for Daniel Arzani. It's a lovely raking ball over the top by Roderick Miranda. Daniel Arzani has rather spoiled it all by going a fraction early.
Yeah, and you know, he shouldn't need being told. He's let them off. But Miranda has fired at least 3 out to Arzani, exactly the same type. He's been great. He's just great. The youngsters watching how to play centre defence and distribution out of the back. De Silva's been very good too. I mean, there's not a poor player on the field tonight, actually, Simon. It's been just a really enthralling 37.5 minutes.
There was Miranda again, holding Ivanovic at bay. Ivasuki trying to steal in. Isuzu to clear. Mashash, one for Fornaroli to chase. Use of the body is one of his big strengths, of course, and he holds the ball up well. Here's Ryan T, thought about shooting. Tees up for Lupale, victory threatening. Across the face it goes, it's pinball for a moment or two before Adelaide getting clear. Victory started to turn the screw a little bit. And it goes to Ryan Teague on the left. That'll be Joe Gauch's good take. What a poor throw. Puts his team right back under the pump. Arzani and Fornaroli. A little farewell present as he heads off to the Asian Cup with the Socceroos from Bruno Fornaroli. A bullet header.
I think it's it's been adjudged offside. VAR will do the rule. It's an incredible header. That's an incredible header. Let's just forget the bureaucracy for a second and enjoy the majesty.
Damned red tape, says Tony Popovich.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful header.
And that farewell present will have to wait. But he is clearly offside. And victory celebrations cut short. Adelaide have been warned. Lopez. All the way back by Popovich. Turned out wide by Isaias. Forward towards Ivasuki. Lopez says to Ivanovic, go on, chase that. But De Silva is there.
I think Adelaide have got that mix in their game right. Ivasuki and Ivanovic start as twin strikers, but most often it's Ivasuki who drops off the line to allow Ivanovic to be the furthest forward and use his speed to get in behind an advanced defence. Ivasuki hasn't got that attribute, but he's a very clever player and a great target. And I think that part of the Adelaide approach has worked very, very well.
Miranda. It's not a miscue from De Silva, so he has to go back to Paul Isuzu. Curio wins it in the air. On top by Fornaroli. Shash keeping Kitto and Popovich honest. Offside again. Victory fans growing ever more frustrated with the officials. Fourth time they've been caught offside already. Had his route back to his goalkeeper blocked off, but Adelaide managed to get a throw. there we go, that's how tight it is. 0-0 and 50% each in terms of possession. Victory have certainly had the better sights of goal. Lopez. Clough not going to reach that ahead of Guerrier. For Jovanovic, who's managed to get goal side of Fabian Monge. Clough. Lopez. Showed too much of it to Guerrier. Adama Traoré will more likely be back for Victory's next assignment, which is away to Perth. 6th of January, but for tonight at least it's Jason Guerrier filling that left back role and doing a pretty good job of it. Lopez looking for movements, touched by Ibasuki. Zani. Chapman. Teague. Zani. Chapman square for Guerrier. And now Valupale. Leaves it for Teague. Guerrier. Monge. Return from Arzani, Miranda, Teague. Intelligent ball that from Ibasuki, but again the ball from Clough just not within range for Jovanovic. Seen out on the far side by Ryan Kitto. Arzani. Judged a fair challenge by Ibasuki, and then Adelaide get the whistle for a subsequent challenge. Yeah, won the ball.
Arzani would ask the question. I reckon most players would there too. He did get the ball.
Maybe went slightly over the top of it, but not by much.
And the foul committed by Mashash, again showing what a handful he is in open play.
Into first half stoppage time, of which there'll be a minimum of 3 minutes. Ibasuki. Clough. Miranda appealing for offside there against Zach Clough. Ibasuki, that's an intelligent ball. Out towards Kitto. They're looking to end the half with a flourish, but Arzani was determined. And Kitto lunges in. It takes two to stop him, and then Tunnicliffe is upended. And Victory feel they should have had a free kick prior to that. What's your view, Hans?
Well, I actually thought it should have been a foul on Ryan Kitto initially. Looked to me like Arzani had a handful of his shirt. This is the latter one. It's Mashash again, the judge to have been a little overzealous in his attempts to win the ball.
Well, frankly, it's a half of football that probably deserves a goal. We haven't had one as yet. We've got 90 seconds to run. Clough's delivery. Guerrier away. So he is, with the effort, charged down by Mashash. And Arzani was then charged into by Zach Clough, and the ironic cheers for the whistle in favour of Melbourne Victory.
Well, it's great defending from Victory again. It was a really decent free kick in. Jason Guerria's header was definitive, and then the pressure on the ball there to force that Clough into that error of judgment and concede the free kick. Well done to Victory. And Simon, you're right. It is a half that deserves a goal, but it's not a half that deserves a team to be trailing. Both have been excellent. Really excellent. It's been great, a great watch here at Amy Park on New Year's weekend.
Strong benches for both too, which is a factor that will no doubt come into play as the game wears on. The likes of Halloran and Irankunda for Adelaide, Economides, Falami, Brimmer for Victory. There's Nestori with the hood on. Looks a bit chilly, doesn't he? It's a cool evening in Melbourne. Daniel Elder has the whistle to his mouth and says that will do. An entertaining first half, no goals to show for it. But plenty of guile and no little style, some of it provided by Daniel Larzani. One great stop by Joe Gauci. One ruled out goal for Tony Popovic's team. Scored but then rubbed out off the head of Bruno Fornaroli. At the other end, a couple of deflections off Roderick Miranda might have favoured Adelaide, and Ryan Kitto fired one just wide. All in all the ingredients are there. Maybe the goals will flow in the second stanza. At the break at Amy Park, it's goalless. Melbourne Victory 0, Adelaide United 0. We're off to a quick break. On the other side of it, Tara and the team will run the rule over what we've just seen. Stay with us.
Okay, time for a bit of fun. Marco and Emilio, who are familiar faces that are with us before. Is it one of your birthdays? Yes, that's right. Okay, so the top end show, so nice and simple. We've got the boys, they have 3 soccer balls in their feet. As you can see, just behind us over there, we have the jersey. So the boys need to kick the ball, try and kick the jersey. If they hit it, they will take it home.
Yeah, we're Bella.
Not anymore. What do you think of the ball there? What do you reckon? I just don't want to slip that. Yeah, it does have a bit slippery actually. What about you? Just football player back in the day? No longer? Who do you think's better at the two? Oh, keeper. Okay. Who goes on back to Oh, you go. Alright, I'll get out of the way.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu Ute, awarded to the best player of the season as nominated by the Paramount ANZ football team. The winner of the prestigious award will receive $10,000. Plus, the Isuzu Ute Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club of choice to win a brand new, top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX to be announced during the grand final. To stay in touch with the leaderboard, tune in for weekly updates at your home of football.
Gambling seems like kids. Constant TV advertising controls all adults within sport and when everyone wins. But that's not true. Gambling apps are conditioning kids to start betting as soon as they're old enough. Prepare them for the future by talking to them now about how gambling works and who really wins. Love the game, not the odds.
Well, typically tough original rivalry action, goalless at the break. 5 shots apiece, and Carl Beert is going to his bench for the second half. Introducing Luke Dizelle for Johnny Yull in the Reds midfield. No changes for Victory. They are as per for the start of the second half. Bruno Forderoli with one goal ruled out by an offside flag. They've hit the post through. Roderick Miranda forced one good save out of Joe Gauci. But the Reds have had their moments as well. Not quite as many as they had against Newcastle last week when they racked up 31 shots, which is the second highest of any team in a game so far this season. They've had 2 shots on target in that first half. Victory just the 1. And Victory do have 3 tough away games coming up on the back of this, against Perth, the Mariners and Wellington Phoenix, so they'll be anxious to get all 3 points in front of their own fans, which would of course take them top of the league going into the new year. And they're starting the second half on the front foot. It's Daniel Arzani, and the Reds scramble well, and Isaias helps it clear. And Andy Harper, more of the same please. That was a good watch in the first half.
Well, Simon, I was anticipating your intro, and that's what I was going to say. Have we been working together for...
You reckon?
Just a little while? Look, I loved the first half, I really did. I mean, everyone's saying the same thing, it just needs a goal. But that's all that's been missing. There's been fantastic enterprise and intent, great energy, extreme quality, good movements.
Sent forward by Miranda, accurately too. Same can't be said, sadly, for Victory.
No, that wasn't
from Valupale.
One of the great moments of the game. Valupale's been dangerous, but his technique let him down badly there, and his team. It's the second time, as long as the second half has been going, just a minute, that Victory have raided forward.
Reminder of the 2 teams as they were at the start of play. Victory making 3 changes tonight. Adelaide just the 1, with Javi Lopez coming in, but that has now become 2 with the introduction of Luke Dizelle off the bench. As a rebound favours the visitors, and Hiroshi Ivasuki is going to have a go. Ambitious, but if you don't shoot, you don't score.
No, and actually, I don't recall really anyone from Adelaide lining up a set shot like that. Isaias, towards the close of that first half, had a ping just outside the D, but that was a first-time effort after a Victory clearance. They've really been looking to try and work in behind the Victory defence. Done it to good effect, in fairness to them, Adelaide United.
As we mentioned in the first half, Harps, the longer the game goes on goalless, the more the game breakers on the bench will be looked at by the 2 coaches, I guess. It's a poor giveaway. Straight at Kitto. Ansel. Kitto forced back by Arzani. Sent straight out of play off the boot of Joe Gauci. Incidentally, we're told that Johnny Yull came off with concussion, which means, of course, Adelaide have an extra change up their sleeves. New ruling that's been brought in. It's been in place for quite some time now. Zach Clough reluctant to let the ball go. Jake Brimmer, of course, is the normal free kick taker for Victory, but he's on the bench tonight, so Daniel Arzani is taking over set-piece duties. There is Brimmer warming up along with the rest of the Victory subs. Miranda and Guerrier and De Silva at the back of the cluster, looking to make their move. Arzani's delivery, Ivasuki's header away. Teague will reload it. Arzani. Balupale. Nice little feint as he tries to get to the byline. It's a goal kick. Well defended by Javi Lopez.
Yeah, it really was, and it was a magnificent turn from Balupale. Everyone, or most people, I think, were reading the 1-2 with Arzani. He read the wind, Balupale, and he jinked beautifully in the opposite direction. But Adelaide regathered their numbers nicely. Win the goal kick. Positive start from Melbourne Victory. They did, on balance, have the better sights at goal in that first half.
That's a 9-game unbeaten run to start the season, has contained 5 draws. I'm sure Tony Popovic would love to start converting them into victories. Wellington Phoenix will hope not, of course. They're top of the shop at the moment, despite their loss in Sydney last night. Ansel out for Kitto. Ivanovic chasing it, but De Silva nods it out. Kitto with a quick throw. Ibasuki. De Silva in the way. Miranda had to be sharp, which is why he spooned the ball up in the air. Chapman eager to get on with things. Ball's gone out before Fornelli could reach it, and a rather theatrical tumble to the ground. They're going to miss him for the next month.
Sure are. He's been fabulous this season. It's a terrific renaissance from Bruno Fornelli.
That was a terrific ball by Alexander Popovic. Clean tackle though by Arzani. And then he gives the ball away, and so do Adelaide. Teague. Balupale. Lopez trying to stick tight to him. There's a bit of shirt tugging going on between those two. Daniel Elder keeping a beady eye on that. Might have blown the whistle had Victory lost the ball. Teague sweeps it out towards Arzani. And is in position for the return. Arzani darting in field, setting up Zinedine Mashash. He was off balance though.
Yeah, he was pretty keen as soon as the ball was en route to him to set up a shooting chance. Might have been better advised to have kept things moving. Johnny Yull hoping, of course, that he's okay. He's an outstanding young talent. Another one, the South Australian production line.
Well, he was actually born in Amersham, in the UK. He's a big Arsenal fan. Mashash did well. And Daniel Elder's going to bring them back, and Tony Popovic is a little frustrated by that because Victory perhaps had an attack brewing.
It's a fair question. I mean, the game's been very open and free-flowing. Daniel Elder hasn't looked over his shoulder to see exactly what space might be available there for Victory.
Tony Popovic, as you watch this replay, is involved in a deep discussion with Jonathan Barrero, fourth official. Rather frank exchange of views. The Victory have got 3 away games coming up. Adelaide have got 3 home games. First of which is against Wellington on the 4th of January, followed by Macarthur and Sydney. So a chance to cement their place in the top 6. Is Luka Ivanovic driving towards the byline, looking for the cutback. Victory had too many bodies in the way. Nice touch by Arzani. Fabian Monge. Miscue. Stymied that promise of an attack for the home side. Instead, it's Kitto for Adelaide. Overhit. Cushion header by Volupele. Wants it back off Guerrier. Sidesteps Popovic. And out off Lopez.
Well, the game hasn't enjoyed the fluency of the first half, but it hasn't lost any of the edge. Tackles flying in.
Arzani. Victory are readying Jake Brimmer, incidentally. Next break in play, maybe with us. Lovely little ball over the top by Arzani, and Mashash offside. Jake Brimmer being given detailed instruction by the Victory coaching staff. He's ready to go. Ansell. Gazelle. And now Tunnicliffe. Little gap there, which was quickly shot for Isaias, but unfairly so by Ryan T. And here's that change for Melbourne Victory.
It's a real injection for the Victory. It's a very good 55 minutes from Fabian Monge. Excellent first half, a real contributor to the ebb and flow of the game. Just lost a couple of possessions in this second half. Partly why I'm sure, well, I imagine Tony Popovic has been prompted to make the change.
And Victory have responded, or rather Adelaide have responded by making a double change of their own. Taking off Hiroshi Ibasuki and Luki Ivanovic and introducing Ben Halloran and Nestori Irankunda, who's getting the boos from the Victory fans. No doubt for his part in that late incident in the last meter between the two back here at Amy Park in round 3. And he was shown red for dissent. Fascinating last half an hour in prospect now. Clough's free kick. Kitto will reach it. But outfoxed by Jake Brimmer, fresh off the bench, and Victory will stream forward. Mashash on the charge. It's a good challenge that by Popovic. Mashash has stayed down, but it looked a clean challenge. Maybe the replay will tell us differently. Mashash is certainly in pain.
This is fantastic work from Alexander Popovic. Now, Simon, there haven't been, over the course of the 10 games to get this season going, there haven't been many players who've been able to handle Zinedine Mashash in that part of the game. When he's at full steam ahead, he's really difficult to dismantle, but Popovic did just that.
That was a real proper centre-half's tackle, wasn't it?
You know, he's back to his best. He was being left out of the team at points last year. A bit of an injury, drop in form, or whatever the reasons, but he's back to his bruising best. I think he's a fantastic prospect, Popovic. And I don't know, I mean, correct me, have you seen anyone really handle Mashash like that in those moments when he breaks out of midfield?
Yep. Yeah, physically, he's a tough customer. Mashash is okay, maybe just fell slightly awkwardly on the ankle, and he's in position by courtesy of coming back off the sidelines to receive the ball here, floats it towards Fornaroli. It's just a fraction over hit.
Had two great options, didn't he? And maybe a little bit ginger himself, but Arzani had made a very positive forward run, and Mashash went for the main man. And it's a very tempting little dink. It just never quite settled for Bruno. Unfortunately for the watching gallery, minus the sector of red fans.
He went for the 9-iron, needed the sandwich.
I can't offer any golfing analogies, son.
I don't know why I'm doing it, to be honest. Here's Zach Clough. Stolen away from Guerrier, fighting across him. Isaias. He's not far away from getting on the end of it, but the flag is up anyway. Brad Wright on the far side. So Isaias hasn't scored, incidentally, for the Reds since April 2019. Clough clearly offside. Now it's off Geria. Adelaide eager to get Halloran and Irankunda involved in the game. Great options for Calvert to have off the bench. Fornaroli, Popovic again. Too strong. Fornaroli thinks it was unfair. And he might be after revenge here, Fornaroli. Very calmly done by the young defender. Here they go again, those two. Little spin by Clough. And Popovic had his pocket picked briefly by Mashash. Good one-touch stuff by the Reds. And Irankunda's pace might be a problem here. Roderick Miranda gets back in the nick of time.
The providence that the first real movement of Nestor Irankunda was towards Roderick Miranda, but both players dealt with it fairly, with great commitment.
Tempo's gone up a notch again, hasn't it? Here's Zach Clough driving towards goal. Just dallied too long. Now Victory look to counter. Fornaroli on the left, he's not got much help at the moment. Look at Jason Geria sprinting forward to give him an option. Oh, and Fornaroli brought to ground right on the edge of the box. And after all the big raps we've given Alexander Popovic, he's going to be the first player into Daniel Elder's notebook tonight.
It was a bruising tackle. And rightly penalised. No complaints from the young Adelaide central defender. I too, Simon, was taken by the run of Jason Geria. Fornaroli's opted not to use him. Look at Jay. I mean, strangely, I question the great man, but maybe to put that in the path of Jason Geria could have caused some real damage. As it is, they still had the chance to do that.
And Jake Brimmer's back on set-piece duty, which means Joe Gouch, who will have to guard against a shot on goal, even though the angle is rather narrow. Don't rule out Brimmer having a go here. Did something similar in the derby against City and forced a decent stop out of Jamie Young here a few days ago.
And Joe Gouch does overcommit to that near post. Valupale is free out on the right.
The game fascinatingly balanced. Jake Brimmer takes a breath and fires it in towards that near post.
Not overly convincing from Joe Gouch, but effective in the end.
One in the air by Teague. And Lopez was grabbed onto. There's that effort some moments ago from Jake Brimmer. Still waiting for his first goal this season. After that long injury layoff, of course. How about that? 500 touches each. There is not a cigarette paper between them. .50-50 possession. Offside against Adelaide. Everywhere you look in the stats column, it's even Steven. Great ball by Brimmer. Valupale. Held up by Lopez. Had a good game tonight on his return to the starting 11. who's going to blink first in the original rivalry. Adelaide unhappy. It's Daniel Elder spotted some impeding there, and he's given Melbourne Victory a free kick from that throw. A little bit further out, similar angle for Jake Brimmer. He's had to have eyes in the back of his head at times, Daniel Elder, but he's not missed too much. Miranda Guerrier waiting at the back post, goes towards the near instead, and it flashes wide off Valupale.
Well, it was fired in from Jake Brimmer. And the ball hit like that, sometimes any touch is going to be good enough, but no Victory player could get any decent contact on it.
It was actually Fornaroli, I think, who got the final touch. Alexander Popovic barking orders to vastly more experienced teammates upfield to be in better positions. Maybe to make those runs in behind. Halloran and Irankunda have both got pace. Here's Luke Dizelle. Ignores Irankunda. Finds a bit of room here for Zach Clough. Halloran just holding his run. The cutback, but it's not read by any of his teammates. Not away yet by Victory. Lopez. Clough again. More air this time. Nobody at the back post for the Reds. Mashash. Desperately trying to hold off not one but two players. Unsuccessfully. Bit of space now for Ryan Kitto. And Zach Clough waiting, it just hit him on the chest. That little touch off Ryan Teague was enough. It is nip and tuck. And Bruno Fornaroli, well, going for the back page headline from inside his own half. Valupale wants a foul. There's a lot going on out there. And they're going to get this foul, Melbourne Victory.
So that's really interesting how he's deemed no advantage.
I think there's going to be a card shown here, a little belatedly, but Javi Lopez had a couple of grabs in this Valupale. Quickly down to Michael Zapponi on the sideline.
Yeah, this is a point I was about to make. The tension has been simmering in the first half from the Melbourne Victory bench. It's reached a boiling point because of fouls like that they thought weren't being punished. Finally, they get their wish, but that tactic, a lot of manhandling, a lot of wrestling, they've been calling it on the sideline here. So far, Daniel Elder's let it go.
Thanks, Zappa. Midway point of the second half. That's two of the Adelaide defensive line now walking the tightrope. Lopez and Popovic. Still, they can't be split in any of the stat columns. Dizelle. Arzani tracking back well, which has been a part of his game that's been criticised in the past, but he did it well then.
That's part of the new leaf from Daniel Arzani, which is really good to see. And as a result of that work ethic, he's lasting deeper and deeper into games, which is a must for him and the club.
Now, Arzani's free on the right if they can work it out to him. Here's Chapman. Here is Daniel Arzani. Little flick through, and Valupale takes it beyond towards the byline. The volley from Connor Chapman, and big appeals for handball this time by Melbourne Victory will go on for the moment. Mashash. Fornaroli at the back post. Brings it down on the chest. There are a lot of defenders in the way, and he has to settle for a corner.
Quite great football. The run from Valupale was breathtaking, and he collected the ball in stride magnificently. And that's a deflection onto the arm, so it's not going to be handball, even if there was any intent, which I doubt there was. Yeah. And it's play. It's a good contact from Connor Chapman, continued his run. Good football from Victory.
It's not going to be overruled by VAR. Comes off the body onto the arm. There's no penalty. Here's the corner, whipped in with pace, and Dizelle at the near post. Rather Lopez, I should say. Victory have taken the second corner quickly. Arzani with the twinkling feet, but it's all rather hurried.
Yeah, but keep persevering, something will come. Victory have looked probably more likely. I know the stats and the passing numbers and the possession, it can't be split. You can't take your eyes off Adelaide for a second, not with the players on field for them, but in these moments, Victory have looked more convincing.
Good challenge by Brimmer to win the ball back for Victory. Down goes Fornaroli, free kick. This one is well within range for Jake Brimmer. Adelaide feeling the heat at Amy Park.
Well, the turnover forced by some really, really good defending. There's the trip on Arzani, and that's what was adjudged a foul. Well, less the second one than the first. It's Bruno who actually steps out of the line. But Daniel Elder was letting it go, and
yeah, he actually barges sort of into Isaias. Whether he has his foot taken away from him by Ansell in the second phase of that movement is another question. There's a yellow card been shown to the Spaniard. That's 3 yellows now for Adelaide. Calvier turns away, muttering to himself and to his colleagues on the bench. This could be a big moment in the latest instalment of the original rivalry. We know Jake Brimmer's quality from set pieces.
look at the position that Roderick Miranda has taken up. He can't stand in there. There's another 3 Victory players the required distance from the wall. Now Miranda's gone. The sight screen has been removed.
There we go, the stats have him level with Aaron Boy. Brimmer! Well, by the look of Joe Gauci, he was confident that that was always going well wide.
Yeah, well, on the Harvey Norman replay, Jake wasn't so convinced. He does hit the ball beautifully. Oof.
Well, all around us, the Victory fans on their feet, perhaps recognising that their team need their help to get over the line against a very stubborn, resilient opponent. Handball against Zach Clough.
The game easily could go either way. What the Victory have had the better of the second half, I think, but in a blink, Adelaide have played well enough to keep them worried.
There's lots of little things going on off the ball as well. Valupale darts into the box. Machat! Deadlock broken! Zizou! The cult hero of Melbourne Victory fans at Amy Park. And finally, Tony Popovic's team have breached a stubborn Reds defence.
Well, the handball free kick against Zach Clough was taken quickly, and then the Harvey Norman replay just tells a beautiful tale of the mazy run of Mission Valupale. His second half has been very impressive. Look at him go, cutting a swathe through the Adelaide defence, and then it's the magical Moroccan from the penalty spot or thereabouts, hooking it in with his left foot, giving Victory the lead. It's a stunning goal. Fantastic work, Victory. And now it's for Adelaide to find an answer.
It's his 3rd goal for the club, and they love him here. Adelaide have made a change whilst you were watching those replays. Giuseppe Bobolina has replaced Javi Lopez, his first start of the campaign, of course. He was also in the book, and now it's all for the Reds to do. Straight from the kickoff, off the head of Irankunda. Arzani can't keep hold of it. Dug out by Halloran. Isaias. Good challenge by Zinedine Mashash. Into the path of Arzani. And Arzani is in position for the return. Fornaroli at the back post. Reds corner, or rather Victory corner, I should say.
Maybe took that one step too far, Arzani. A great night for his return to the team. Lopez. Yeah, I don't know. Daniel Azani wins the corner, but he had players ready if he could have centred the ball.
Well, there's one stat that's very heavily in favour of Melbourne victory.
Where's that been all night?
They've kept that one up their sleeves.
It's a pretty important stat.
Ben Falami's being readied by victory, but not just yet. Brimmer about to deliver the latest corner. Fired in with pace, and Gauci denying Damien De Silva the first of the season.
I don't think he knew much about it, Joe Gauci. Some reflexes helped him in the end, and he effectively denies. It's a good header from De Silva, and he swats it away. Does Gauci.
Is that change for victory? Daniel Arzani's night's work is done, and Ben Falami is his replacement. Quarter of an hour to go. On a very tense night. Victory by no means assured of all 3 points just yet. With one-touch football, Chapman. Falami getting involved. Ashash using the body well again. He is some player. Falami. Now finally, Tanaka gets a toe in and then gives it straight back to Melbourne victory. Isuzu to clip it forward. Off the head of Balupale, but favours Isaias. Bobolina, or rather Popovic. There's the as-live ladder. If it stays this way, Melbourne victory will be top going into the new year. And for the first time this season, despite that unbeaten start, at least at the end of a round. What do the Reds have in reserve? Ansel. Chested down by Bobolina. Not quite the sort of delivery Reds were looking for. Tony Popovic just getting a message out via Bruno Fornaroli towards Nishan Balupale. Just to keep his head, but he was heavily involved in the goal that separates the two teams. A quite brilliant run to split apart the Adelaide defence. Popovic. Kitto. Looking for Iran Kunda. He's quick and he's strong, but so is Damien De Silva. Even though he's given away quite a few years to Nestor Iran Kunda. Shash straight at Bobolina. Clough. Teague right on his hammer. Does well. Duzell. Iran Kunda. Hits the byline. Didn't really have much control after that. Well, Labuse and all the attention are really a sign of his potential. He is such a talent, we know that. And Adelaide need him. Has made a habit of coming up with late goals to earn points for the Reds. In fact, he scored late equaliser here at Amy Park last season against Victory. Bobolina not able to steal him behind. committing the foul. Quick check of the watch from Carl. Just over 10 minutes for his team to try and find an equaliser. Shash is furthest forward for Victory. Fornaroli can't play in Falami. Nor can Brimmer. It's better from Chapman. It's good football by Victory. Eventually Kitto intervenes. Sent forward by De Silva. Brought down by Ansell. Halloran. Up and under for Guerrier. Brought down by Irankunda. Tunnicliffe. Bovalina. Isaias. Little jab forward by Ansell. Kitto. Wide left is Halloran. Kitto available for the return. Little dink through the gap. It's clever by the Reds, and back post was Bovalina. Offside is the verdict. But they contrived a good opportunity there, the Reds.
Yeah, they're still chipping away. And it's the chance now of Bernardo and Ethan Alagic to see if they can make an imprint as Sayers makes way. Zach Clough taking his leave.
No goal for Zach Clough tonight, the Reds leading scorer with 5. Bernardo has a couple, scored earlier on in the season.
There's been a Halloran who was adjudged offside, not Giuseppe Bovalina, who arrived nicely to meet that at the back post. Not an easy header to navigate. And Halloran moving more into the centre forward position. Bernardo coming out onto the left wing.
And Irankunda on the right. Now one-on-one with Jason Guerrier. Wisely trying to stay away from Connor Chapman, with who he had that little spat here in round 3. Teague. Valupale. Bovalina was snapping at his heels. Free kick. More organisational work for Joe Gauci. And Jake Brimmer in position. Whips it in. Little flat. Half out by Alagic. Back in by Falami. Down goes De Silva. Dug out well by Dazelle. Forward by Ansell. Swung out wide by Alagic in the hope that Irankunda was there. Instead it was Jake Brimmer. Now Mashash. Adelaide have got to commit some numbers forward. Here's Bernardo. They might just leave some gaps further back. Victory have certainly got the players that can exploit that. Here's one of them, Mashash. Valupale. Turned back by Fornaroli for Teague. Brimmer. Guerrier's touch forward. Teague. And De Silva. Falami. Nice 1-2 with Connor Chapman. Good football by Victory. Falami. Cross steered away for now by Tunnicliffe. Brimmer encouraged to shoot. Valupale might. Good save. Joe Gapchi with the outstretched left boot to keep Adelaide in the contest. That might have been curtains for the Reds.
Well, there's another stat. That's not equal, the save stat. This is a really good one from Gauci, excellent with his left foot. It was just on the back of a spellbinding passing sequence from Melbourne Victory. It was a move that deserved the goal. And Joe Gauci decided, as was needed, he rightly reports, Simon, that outstretched left foot has kept the Reds in it.
Kitto wanted to find Halloran, but Gary was too good. Teague would stretch that by Alagic. Determined play by Ansell. We nearly got the ball in the commentary box. Almost happened on Saturday as well in the derby. Chris Economides. And the shirt off for the moment, or the bib off, I should say. So does Eli Adams. They may be the next changes for Tony Popovic. It's not completely away off Guerrier. Bovalina. Tunnicliffe. Now Alagic. Wide left is Bernardo. Darting inside, looking for the angle. Tunnicliffe. Might have thought about hitting it. I think they've overplayed that, the Reds. No foul by Popovic. Oh, and then Fornaroli followed through on Popovic. Daniel Elder has played the advantage. Popovic has stayed down off the field of play. They haven't quite the battle tonight, those two. See if Elder, the referee Daniel Elder, takes any action for that when the ball does eventually go dead. Adelaide enjoyed a spell of possession. Iran Kunda, little touch around the corner by Halloran. Bovalina can't reach it. And the referee will just halt play here. And he's going to have a word with Bruno Fornaroli and issue him with Victory's first yellow ticket of the night for that challenge on Popovic. Victory going to make a double change here. Well, Nishan Valupale's had a good game tonight, highlighted by his role in the goal that separates the team so far. And the man who scored it is taking his leave as well. Zinedine Mashash, to be replaced by Chris Economides and Eli Adams. Good performances both.
Yeah, really good. And the architects of the goal that separates the teams has become a very popular figure. Zinedine Mashash very quickly, and Valupale, a local junior who has grown immensely, and a crowning moment in this game by the young Aussie to set up the goal that separates the teams.
Well, since just the one, Adelaide still in with a chance. Fornaroli just outnumbered. Dizelle, Iran Kunda, heavy first touch. He's not quite been able to get in the game yet, Astori Iran Kunda. Tunnicliffe with a speculator. Scored just the one so far for the Reds, the birthday boy, 31 today. Chapman leading our Paramount Plus player index. He's had a decent game, to be fair. Joe Gauci has made several decent saves, particularly in the second half. Chapman's lost out there to Bernardo. Tied it up by De Silva. He and Miranda, a really good central defensive pairing for Tony Popovic. Falami on the move. Out in front of Fornaroli. Has Adams alongside. Wants to go on himself, and he's got it! Bruno Fornaroli had one ruled out in the first half for offside. That one's going to stand. Big smile for Tony Popovic. They're going to miss him. Goal number 13 of the season. But one to remember right on the 90-minute mark before he heads off to the Asian Cup. And Victory have the points in the bag.
Well, on the Harvey Norman replay before, we just sit in awe of Bruno Fornaroli, admire the work of Ben Falami, bursting through midfield to set El Tuna away. And this guy is just incredible. Just an incredible finish. It's so difficult, which he makes look routine. When you've got this many goals as a top striker, of course, at the top of your game, the confidence is high, and he just nails it. He nails it, like he nailed the header in the first half, ruled out for offside, but no such fortune for Adelaide on this occasion. The best in the business this season. Something to behold. Bruno Fornaroli.
30 games for Victory, now 20 goals, 7 in his last 5. And over the course of his career, that's his 15th in 19 games against Adelaide United. And he's also just gone joint 11th on the Victory all-time scoring list, alongside Robbie Cruz and a certain Mark Milligan, who's on the Reds bench tonight as part of the Reds coaching staff. Here's Irankunda's corner. Halloran is free at the back post. We're into the second of 4 additional minutes. Adelaide need a goal, and quickly. But on balance, it's probably the right result.
I think so. It's shaping up as that, but it's still been a classico. I mean, it really disappoints. This has been so worth watching. And both the goals Victory have scored have been fitting of the occasion.
Sent forwards, looking for Ben Halloran. And he does get there, ahead of Miranda. Irankunda gets the head down and drives for the byline, tries to fire it across with as much power as possible.
Still trying to the end. Jason Guerrier has been unbeatable tonight. Irankunda's buzzing around, trying to be menacing. Such power in those legs. Fired that cross, which Guerrier saw away.
Irankunda's corner, easily seen off at the near post by Teague. And we're into the final minute. Irankunda gives it everything he's got from the throw. Will it fall the way of an Adelaide player? There's a lot of bodies in there for Kitto to navigate. Tunnicliffe only finds Teague. And Fornaroli rolls it into the path of Falami. There's 2 in the middle, Economides and Adams, joined here by Jake Brimmer, who just pulled up a little proppy on the back of that shot.
Yeah, he just hit that awkwardly on his ankle. Good contact. Alex Popovic in the way. Very swift attack again from Victory. Team is just looking great. Adelaide have been top value tonight as well. And this Victory team is going to take some knocking off.
Well, that's what it means to Bruno Fornaroli and to Tony Popovic. That was quite the contest. But Victory, in the end, deserving victors. 10 games unbeaten now. And for the first time at the end of a round this season, Melbourne Victory will be top of the A-League, and they will stay there going into the new year. Adelaide suffered their 5th defeat in 7 games. They will stay outside the top 6 and will have to regroup for the visit of Wellington on January the 4th. They gave it their all tonight, but Victory were relentless. And 2 second-half goals. They had to be patient. But Zinedine Mashash and who else but Bruno Fornaroli, who goes across to have a word or two with Nestor Irankunda, which is great to see from an experienced player offering some advice to a youngster. He was unable to impact the game off the bench. And Victory, top of the league, going into 2024. They've defeated Adelaide United 2-0. Well, another typically tense, tight, and at times testing original rivalry hearts. But in the end, Victory were good value. Let's get some reaction. Here's Zappers.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Nishan Velupillay, sensational tonight on your return to the starting 11. How satisfying is that in front of this big crowd on this big night?
Yeah, it's good. You know, we kept probing, and I think in the end we got what we deserved, but to do it in front of a full house like this, to send us off into the next year is, yeah, it's unbelievable.
You're top of the table tonight. That will bring a smile to your face. What about your last month or so? You've had to return from the Olyroos, a lot of football there, you had a little niggle, got back into the starting 11 tonight. How difficult has that been?
Yeah, I felt, you know, obviously coming back from injury, even though it's 1 week, you know, it's still a bit hard to get back into it, but yeah, I mean, the training we do allows me to play at the intensity, you know, so yeah, feel good now and just happy to get the win.
And you've got Ben Falami, of course, breathing down your neck as well. That competition for places is there at the club. You feel that at the moment?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, me and Benny are good mates, you know, we're always pushing each other, and like you saw when he came on, I mean, he played unbelievable. I thought all his touches, his work rate was unbelievable. So it's a group collective that we need for this season, and yeah, Benny showed it tonight.
Always a bit sweeter to beat Adelaide, is it?
Yeah, much better. But yeah, it's good.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, see you.
All right, Alexander Popovic has been good enough to join us. Alexander, well played tonight. Did you feel like you pushed Victory all the way? It certainly looked like that from here, but they just got the better of you in the end.
Yeah, just a couple key moments that cost us. Credit to Victory and the fans. Unbelievable atmosphere out here. It's just unfortunate about the result, but I felt like the boys worked their socks off and we're to go again next year.
You're still a very young player, but Simon picked up during the call that you love to use your voice, you love to bark instructions out to the players ahead of you in the field, the more senior players. Is that something that comes naturally to you?
That's my game. I try to be a leader on the pitch, doesn't matter my age. Everyone needs to step up, and if you see something, you got to let the boys know. And fortunately, that's my role, and I love doing it. And the boys respect me, so it's good.
Very physical challenge out there tonight. Melbourne Victory bench were complaining in the early part of the game that there was a lot of wrestling going on. Is that something that, you know, deliberately you would try to do today to make sure you were physical to stop that threat?
No, it's an original rivalry. That's what you want. You want a physical game. And fortunately, there's a lot of calls that went our way, but it's just a result. It's a bit disappointing.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.